that there was a natural area on the earth that the Temple Mount was deliberately built around.
In the heart of Jerusalem stands a shrine claimed by millions as the spiritual center of the world. But under its golden dome of the rock, the Well of Souls hides a secret. Visitors report that the cave's floor gives off a hollow boom, as if beneath it lies a cavern waiting to be uncovered. No scientific probe has ever been allowed because even the suspicion of what is sealed down there could ignite a global crisis. What really echoes beneath the dome of the rock, and why is this the one mystery no authority on earth will touch? High above the ancient streets of Jerusalem, the dome of the rock stands out, its golden cap gleaming against the sky. But the true center of gravity here is not the dome itself, but the bedrock it shelters. Known as the foundation stone, this exposed slab of limestone is claimed as the axis mundi, the very navel of the world by both Judaism and Islam. For Jews, it is the site where creation began, the ground where Abraham prepared to sacrifice Isaac, and the resting place of the Ark of the Covenant within the Holy of Holies. For Muslims, this is Al-Sakra, the rock from which the Prophet Muhammad is said to have ascended to heaven during the night journey, accompanied by the prayers of prophets who came before him. The dome, completed in 691 CE under the Umayyad Caliph Abd al-Malik, was built to honor and protect this stone, asserting its place at the heart of the Islamic world. Every inch of this platform is layered with devotion and blood. The foundation stone is not just a relic, it's a claim, one that has fueled centuries of rivalry and reverence. The site draws pilgrims who whisper prayers and press their foreheads to the ancient stone, but it also draws the wary eyes of soldiers and police. Here, faith and politics are inseparable. The dome is part of the Haram al-Sharif, the noble sanctuary, the third holiest site in Islam. For Jews, it is the Temple Mount, the holiest place on earth, even though entry to the stone itself is forbidden by rabbinic law for fear of trespassing on the ancient sanctuary. The sanctity of this place is not a matter of old stories, it is a living crisis. Any attempt to disturb the foundation stone, to dig, or even to test the ground, risks igniting violence that can ripple far beyond Jerusalem's walls. The platform has seen riots, protests, and even war sparked by rumors of tampering. The overlapping claims have turned this patch of stone into a powder keg, where a single act, real or imagined, can bring thousands into the streets. The holiness of the site is so intense, so contested, that even the suspicion of a hidden chamber can threaten a fragile peace. This is why, beneath the prayers and the legends, the foundation stone remains untouched, sealed off not just by marble and carpets, but by the fear of what might happen if its secrets are exposed. Inside the Well of Souls, an unsettling phenomenon has haunted visitors and custodians for generations. When a hand or a foot strikes the marble-paved floor, the sound that returns is not the dull thud of solid stone. Instead, it is a low, resonant boom, a hollow echo that seems to rise from deep within the earth. This anomaly is not folklore. It is a physical effect described by 19th century surveyors, modern guides, and the rare few allowed inside during maintenance. The echo is most pronounced at a central depression in the floor, a spot often hidden beneath layers of prayer rugs. Pilgrims have whispered that the sound is the voices of souls or the breath of the abyss. To the scientifically minded, it suggests something more concrete, an air-filled space, possibly a chamber lurking just beneath the stone. The geometry of the chamber amplifies the mystery. The Well of Souls itself is roughly rectangular, about 7 meters on each side, and 2 to 3 meters high, carved from the living bedrock beneath the foundation stone. The ceiling is uneven, partly natural, partly worked by human hands. The floor is paved in marble, and recent photographs from a 2015 carpet replacement reveal a single pale slab, distinct from its neighbors, almost like a lid waiting to be lifted. Yet no one has been permitted to probe beneath it. Physics offers a simple explanation for the hollow boom. When a thin, rigid surface like marble spans even a modest void, any impact sets the stone vibrating, producing a drum-like resonance. In modern engineering, this is called a plate-over-cavity system. The effect is heightened by the limestone bedrock, which transmits low frequencies with surprising clarity. In the absence of ground-penetrating radar or seismic testing, both forbidden by the Waqf, sound is the only clue left. The echo hints at a subfloor cavity, but its size, shape, and depth remain matters of speculation. Some propose a shallow fissure, others a second, deeper chamber, or a network of tunnels branching out beneath the mount. The absence of hard data is not an oversight. Any attempt to bring scientific instruments into the chamber is blocked by strict religious and political controls. The Well of Souls, for all its physical presence, is a scientific blind spot, an anomaly that invites investigation but punishes curiosity. The hollow echo is more than an acoustic oddity. It is the only tangible evidence that something unknown lies sealed beneath the most contested rock on Earth. And it is this sound, echoing in the darkness, that has lured explorers and treasure hunters for more than a century, setting the stage for the most audacious intrusion ever attempted beneath the dome of the rock. Montague Parker did not come to Jerusalem as a lone adventurer. Behind him stood a syndicate of British and Scandinavian financiers. Each promised a share of whatever lay buried beneath the Temple Mount. These were not scholars or archaeologists, but men hungry for treasure, bankers, lords, and shipping magnates who signed contracts in London parlors and Paris hotels. Their target was the lost riches of Solomon's Temple, and above all, the Ark of the Covenant. Ottoman officials had been quietly bribed. The permit Parker secured in Istanbul was more than a legal formality. It was a shield bought at a price to cloak his real intentions. The official story was archaeological research, but the private agreements spelled out a different purpose. If gold or relics were found, the syndicate would take half and the Ottomans would take the rest. Parker's men rented a villa in Jerusalem and set up base. By day, they posed as eccentric tourists or amateur scholars. By night, they became something else entirely. Local guides and guards were bribed to look the other way. The team donned robes and keffiyehs, blending into the shadows of the old city. Their tools, pickaxes, shovels, and lamps, were smuggled in under cover of darkness. The digging began far from the dome at the City of David, following cryptic clues from the Finnish scholar Walter Juvelius, who claimed to have decoded secret messages in the Bible. But months of excavation turned up little. The pressure from investors grew. With their permit set to expire, Parker's plan shifted from cautious survey to outright infiltration. The real operation began after midnight, when the city's narrow streets emptied and the muezzin's call faded into silence. For 9 consecutive nights, Parker's team slipped through side gates onto the Haram al-Sharif. Disguised as locals, they navigated the labyrinth of passages beneath the platform, bribing sentries to patrol elsewhere. Inside, their picks rang out against ancient stone as they worked to expose a shaft they believed would lead them beneath the foundation stone itself. Each night, the tension grew. The risk was not just legal or financial. Every blow of the pick threatened to pierce the fragile peace of Jerusalem. The team moved with the precision of burglars, aware that discovery would mean disaster, not just for themselves, but for the city above. Yet with every echo from the darkness, the promise of unimaginable treasure drove them deeper. The syndicate's gamble had become a real-life heist, unfolding beneath the most dangerous ground on Earth. A single shout shattered the silence. In the dark, narrow passages beneath the dome of the rock, a young guard caught sight of the intruders. Within moments, the alarm spread through the compound. The fragile calm of Jerusalem snapped. Word raced through the city that foreigners had violated the sanctuary, digging where only the most sacred rituals were allowed. The muezzin's call was drowned out by the roar of an angry crowd surging toward the Haram al-Sharif. Families poured from their homes, shopkeepers slammed shutters, and the air filled with chants and the clatter of running feet. On the platform, Parker's team dropped their tools and scattered. Their disguises, robes, and keffiyehs were useless now. The Ottoman guards, some bribed, some not, lost control as the mob pressed in from all sides. Stones flew, shouts turned to threats. The city's ancient walls echoed with outrage. Panic spread beyond the compound, spilling into the surrounding streets. In the chaos, rumors multiplied. People said the Englishmen had stolen the Ark, desecrated the Holy of Holies, unleashed a curse. Parker's men raced through alleys, slipping past checkpoints, bribing officials for silence. By dawn, they had abandoned their equipment and scientific notes. The syndicate's yacht waited in the port of Jaffa, steam rising from its stacks. Parker and his closest allies reached the coast by train, then by carriage, ducking Ottoman patrols and furious locals. They boarded the yacht just as news of the scandal reached the authorities. Ottoman police searched the vessel from stem to stern, finding nothing but empty crates and muddy boots. No treasures, no relics, only the stench of failure clinging to the decks. Behind them, Jerusalem seethed. The riot left shops looted and streets stained. The Ottoman governor faced angry questions in Parliament, accused of selling access to the city's holiest ground. Parker's syndicate became a cautionary tale across Europe, a treasure hunt that ended not with gold but with violence and exile. The only thing they carried away was the certainty that some mysteries are guarded not just by stone and legend, but by the fury of a city that will not let its secrets go. Inside the gloom, beneath the foundation stone, the Well of Souls is more than a chamber. It is the heart of a legend that runs deeper than the rock itself. In medieval Arabic, it is called Bir al-Arwa, the Well of Spirits. Stories passed down through centuries describe this place as the gathering point for souls awaiting judgment, a cosmic waiting room where the living and the dead nearly touch. Some pilgrims say that in the silence you can hear faint whispers rising from the depths, a chorus of spirits echoing through stone. But the myth does not end with the dead. For generations, both Jewish and Islamic traditions have described the foundation stone as a spiritual plug, a capstone pressed down over the primordial deep called the Tihom. In these stories, the stone seals the chaos below, holding back the waters of creation and preventing the abyss from swallowing the world. The cave beneath, then, is not just a hollow, it is a threshold. To disturb it, to break the seal, is to risk unleashing forces that belong to another realm. This vision of the Well of Souls as a containment field, a lock on the underworld, helps explain the fierce devotion and fear that surrounds it. It is not simply a relic or a memory, but a living boundary between the known and the unknowable. Here, the weight of belief is as real as the stone itself, and the sense of danger is not just political, but spiritual. The chamber's silence is heavy with the possibility that what lies sealed below is far more than empty space. That hollow sound, that echo when the floor is struck, could be the only clue we will ever have. Some secrets are protected not by magic, but by the sheer danger of knowing the truth. Centuries of rumor and devotion have turned the Well of Souls into a magnet for every theory about lost treasure beneath Jerusalem. But behind the swirling legends, a handful of scholars have tried to impose order on the chaos, mapping, measuring, and reconstructing what might actually lie beneath the stone. In the Talmud, there are hints that King Solomon, anticipating disaster, prepared secret chambers under the temple to safeguard the Ark of the Covenant. These ancient texts describe vaults and trapdoors, even a marble slab concealing a shaft meant to hide the holiest object in Judaism from invaders. Architectural historians like Lean Rittmeyer have taken these clues and overlaid them on the Dome of the Rock footprint, producing detailed cross-sections and engineering models. Their reconstructions show a series of vertical shafts and sealed chambers cut deep into the bedrock, perfectly aligned with the spot where the Holy of Holies once stood. Victorian surveyors such as Charles Warren and Charles Wilson mapped dozens of cisterns and tunnels under the Temple Mount, some large enough to swallow a cathedral. Their diagrams reveal a platform that is anything but solid, an underground maze that could, in theory, conceal almost anything. The Well of Souls, with its marble floor and central depression, fits the profile of an engineered hiding place, a chamber sealed by a slab with a shaft that could lead even deeper. No ground-penetrating radar or seismic survey has ever been allowed to test these models. The only evidence is the geometry of the site, the echo beneath the floor, and the tantalizing alignment of ancient texts with modern reconstructions. The result is a blueprint of possibility, one that makes the idea of a hidden vault more than just a myth, but a rational hypothesis waiting to be tested. Yet every attempt to probe deeper, to move from theory to fact, runs straight into the same blockade, a wall of religious and political resistance that no engineer or archaeologist has managed to breach. Beneath the stone paving of the Temple Mount, the ground is anything but solid. Victorian surveyors like Charles Warren and Charles Wilson mapped more than 40 cisterns and tunnels hidden under the platform, some vast enough to swallow a cathedral. Their diagrams, drawn in the 1860s and the 1870s, reveal a labyrinth of reservoirs and channels carved deep into the bedrock, each one sealed off from the public and locked behind layers of political and religious authority. These underground spaces once supplied ancient Jerusalem with water and sanctuary, but today their true extent remains concealed. No modern map shows what lies directly beneath the foundation stone. In the late 1990s, the ground shifted again, this time not by hand, but by machine. The Islamic Waqf, custodians of the Haram al-Sharif, used bulldozers to clear out thousands of tons of earth from Solomon's stables, a vaulted chamber at the southeastern edge of the platform. The debris was dumped in the Kidron Valley, out of reach of archaeologists. Years later, the Temple Mount Sifting Project began sifting through this earth, recovering coins, arrowheads, and pottery fragments from every era of the city's history. Each artifact proved that even the fill beneath the mount is rich with buried stories now scattered, their original context lost forever. Inside the Well of Souls itself, the clues are even more tightly guarded. In 2015, rare photographs captured the marble floor stripped of its carpets, exposing a single pale slab that stands out from the rest. Some suspect it hides an entrance, a sealed trapdoor into the unknown, but any attempt to investigate further is blocked by an unbreakable rule. The Waqf forbids ground-penetrating radar, seismic testing, or even the most basic archaeological tools inside the dome. The ban is absolute. In a world where satellites can scan the ruins of lost cities, 5 feet of marble and politics have sealed this chamber tighter than any ancient vault. The evidence is trapped in stone, and the truth remains just out of reach. This is an ancient myth. It is an unresolved standoff shaping headlines today. As long as the Well of Souls remains sealed, suspicion and tension simmer above it. The world's most contested ground is guarded not by walls, but by mutual fear of what truth could unleash. Sometimes the greatest mysteries endure not because we lack answers, but because we fear what answers might ignite. Share your thoughts below.